Hi, thanks for joining me for this stretch flow. So for this, you may want to have a couple of yoga blocks on hand. If you don't have cork or foam yoga blocks, no problem. You can use hardcover books. You can also use Tupperware or anything that you have around your house just to give you a little bit of stability for your hands to bring the floor up to you. You can also have on hand, if you don't have a bolster, you can also have a pillow or some rolled up blankets or anything soft and squishy. These are not necessary props, you don't need them, but they may be helpful if you find yourself needing a little bit of support in your stretching shapes. Okay? So remember, when you're stretching, never force or strain anything. We always want to enjoy the journey and the process of discovering our body and where it's at. If you're forcing or straining, you may heighten the risk of injury. We don't want that. We don't want to be injured. It's not fun for anybody. So always be mindful. Your breath is a really important tool to notice how your body is feeling. So if you're able to flow your breath nice and easily and smoothly, then you know that you're in a good place to listen to your body. If you're holding your breath, or if you found that your breath is being held, then consciously try your best, do your best to slow down your exhales. And that will allow you to tune inward and enjoy your stretches a bit more. So we will get started standing. Press the pads of your feet down into your floor. Bring your feet to touch. And then start to rock forward and back just a little bit and find where center is. So sometimes we tend to stand with our weight into our heels or our weight all in our toes. See if you can find where that middle ground is. And then maybe just look down towards your nose and mouth or close your eyes. You might start to feel a slight sway with your weight. Sometimes a little bit side to side or forward and back. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a slow breath out. One more time. Slow breath in and a slow breath out. Start to flutter your eyes open if you've closed them down. Press down through your feet, bend into your knees, sweep your arms up. Stretch everything up tall, gaze lifts. As you breathe out, fold over your legs. Maybe soften your knees if you need to. Come up for a halfway lift. Big breath in, shine your heart forward. Fingertips onto your shins. Breathe out, fold down. Hands touch the floor, head works towards your legs. Press down through your feet, breathe in, reach up tall, hands go up over your head. And breathe out, arms stand by your sides. Once again, big breath in, reach up. Maybe you start to back bend slightly here. As you breathe out, fold over your legs. Body works closer towards your legs. Big breath in, heart shines forward, shoulders onto your back, halfway lift. Breathe out, fold over your legs. Come up to standing, breathe in, reach up tall. Breathe out, arms down by your sides. Last time, big breath in, reach up tall, slight back bend here. Push the hips slightly forward. Breathe out, melt over your legs, body closer to your legs this time. Come up for a halfway lift, heart shines forward. Breathe out, melt your hands down. Press down through your feet, rise up, breath in, reach up. And breathe out, arms down by your sides. This time, moving all the way through your full sun salutation. Big breath in, reach up. Slight back bend here, push the pelvis forward, breathe out, melt over your legs, body closer to your legs. Come up for a halfway lift, lift your heart. This time, plant your hands, step into your high plank position. So hands are under shoulders, legs are straight behind you. Pause here from some strength, endurance, warming up the body before we stretch it. Tummy muscles lift up away from the floor. Arms are strong, pads of your fingers press down into your floor. Know that you can always lower your knees down. That is awesome variation. Wherever you are, take a breath in. As you breathe out, bend your elbows along your ribcage, lower yourself down. Come up for a cobra pose. So hug your elbows in. Lift your chest up so your bottom ribs are up off the floor. Stretch your legs behind you. Pausing here, work your back muscles. Breathe out, lower down. Pull your hips back, snake yourself into your downward facing dog. So tuck your hips, tuck your toes rather, and send your hips back. Press in through your hands, press in through your feet. So since this is a stretch-focused class, here in your down dog, really pay attention to the backs of your legs. Notice how they feel right now. Notice where there might be lines of tension through the backs of your legs, maybe underneath your feet, maybe behind your calf muscles. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears as you push into the mat. And then let them slide back onto your back body. And then push your floor away, shrug your shoulders, and then back. One more time, push, and then back to neutral. Look at the space between your hands. Step your right foot forward between your hands. And then adjust your back leg and front leg as you need to, so that your back leg stays really, really long and straight. Your heel stays up off the floor, so you're in a long lunge. Take a peek at your front knee, make sure it's over your ankle, not beyond it, not behind it. And then lengthen the crown of your head forward. We're going to pause here and just breathe. Send your breath into the front of your left hip as you gently soften your hips down. If you're having trouble reaching the floor here, this is an opportunity to use your blocks underneath your hands to help lift your body up. Now keep your feet exactly where they are and pull your hips back with your exhale. So your back heel does not need to touch the floor. Invite your right hip to pull back, squaring off your hips. If you have your blocks, this is an opportunity to have your blocks underneath your hands. Right? Especially if you're having trouble reaching the floor or squaring your hips off, use your blocks to help square your hips off. Reach your front toes down towards the floor so that you feel a stretch in the top of your right foot. Lift your abs up away from your front thigh to help work your core muscles here too. Bonus. With your next exhale, bend forward. Once again into your long lunge. Really stretch your back leg. That works the quadricep muscles. Lifting your kneecap up as you gently push your hips down and forward. Roll your shoulders away from your ears so you start to work your back muscles a little bit so you're not rounding in through your chest. And again, if that's a challenging thing for you because you're really trying to find the floor, that's another sign to use those blocks so you can pull your shoulders away from your ears and down in towards your spine. With your next exhale, pull your hips back once again. Pull your right hip back. Both legs are straight. Maybe start to work your forehead a little bit closer to your front leg. Slide your spine long down your front leg as best as you can. Notice the front foot or the toes still pointed straight. How is your back knee? Lift your kneecap muscles up. Invite your back heel down towards the floor. With your next exhale, bend into your front knee once again. Shoulders roll back, long, long spine. You might start to notice yourself going a little bit deeper into this lunge. Never force or strain. Just breathe. And then keep your feet where they are. Pull your hips back. Last time. Hips are square as best as possible. Now, take a peek down at your back foot, your left heel. Notice if your foot is rolling in or rolling out, and see if you can get your shin bone to point directly over the big toe and second toe. Slide your torso down, your leg a little bit further. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Then bend into your front knee. Press your hands down into your floor or your blocks. Sneak your right leg to meet your left into your high plank. Lower your knees if you'd like. Big breath in here. As you breathe out, bend into your elbows. Come up for an upward facing dog this time. Stretch your arms, stretch your legs, roll your your shoulders back and send your heart forward. As you breathe out, lift up through your abdomen and tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Check in with this downward dog. Notice how one leg feels compared to the other. Then look at the space between your thumbs. Step your left foot between your hands. Find yourself in your long lunge on this side. So take a peek at your left knee. Make sure it's over your ankle, not over your toes or past behind your heel. Stretch your back leg. Notice the sensation you feel in the front of your right hip. Your back heel should be up off the floor. Follow your breath in through your nose and out through your mouth for a cleansing breath. Or you can keep your lips sealed and breathe in and out through your nose, which creates more heat through your body. Keep your feet where they are. Pull your hips back. Remember, your back heel does not need to touch the floor. Just reach it down towards the floor. Extend through your left toes, inviting a stretch along the top of your left foot. And see if you can roll your shoulders back towards your spine just a little bit. Working those muscles in between the shoulder blades helps to improve your posture. Pull your tummy muscles up and away from your front thigh. With your exhale, bend deep into your front knee once again, coming into your lunge. Send breath into the areas that feel a little bit tight for you. So maybe it's the left hip crease as you gently sink into that hip crease. Maybe it's the extended leg behind you. Maybe it's in the quads as you lift your kneecap up, engaging the muscles in your leg. Remember that the breath needs to flow through your neck muscles as well. So avoid creating extra tension in through your neck. See if you can soften your shoulders away from your ears, elongate through the back of your neck, and create space for your breath to flow. With your next exhale, pull your hips back. Left hip squares off. Right hip is invited forward. Left hip goes back. Maybe start to soften your forehead down onto your leg. Maybe start to envision your spine melting down and along your front leg. Again, working your core muscles by pulling your tummy muscles up and away from your front thigh. With your next exhale, bend deep into your front knee once again. Last time here. Again, making any adjustments that you may need with your knee over your ankle, your back leg staying long, your chest staying lifted. I know we have a tendency to want to hunch here. Do our best to invite our spine long, to invite our breath to flow. As you exhale, pull your hips back. Last time here. Taking a peek at your back foot, making sure your arch is lifted up. Your shin is directed over big toe, second toe of your back foot. Then bend into your front knee once again. Press your hands into your floor or your blocks. Slide your left foot to meet your right into your plank position. With your exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Stretch through the whole front body. And exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out your dog a little bit, sink into the right hip and the left hip. Then firmly reach both heels down towards the floor. Press into your hands, palms, send your heart towards your thighs. Look at the space between your thumbs. And bring your right knee forward. Turn it out. So your right knee goes to your right wrist. Your right ankle goes to your left wrist for your pigeon. So start with your torso upright. Again, you can place blocks underneath your hands to help. You can also place a pillow or a blanket or a block underneath your right hip to help elevate yourself if coming all the way into your pigeon is not accessible today. That's okay. If you're on a yoga mat, eventually you're working your front shin to be parallel with the front of your yoga mat. But wherever you are, just breathe into it. Press into your hands to your fingertips. Roll your shoulders down and back. Then lengthen your spine and start to bring your heart and your focus upwards. With your exhale, start to fold forward over your legs. So you can place your forearms down and work here with a flat back, or you can place your fist or two fists down, or you can take your blankets or your pillows and place them on in front of you. Or if it's accessible to you, then just lay your body all the way down onto the floor. Again, do your best to allow your left hip to come down and forward. Notice if your breath is a little bit sticky or a little bit tight in your breathing patterns, and see if you can slow it down. Sometimes counting your inhale for 1, exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 2, and so on. It can help bring some awareness into your breathing. Slowly start to bring your body upright. Place your hands on either side of you. Lengthen your spine once again. And then bring your spine nice and long behind you. Tuck your back toes and lengthen your back leg. Just pausing here. So we're going into an active pigeon shape here. If you're having any discomfort in your front knee, that's a sign to elevate your hips a little bit. You can also flex your front foot. That changes the orientation of the joints a little bit with the engagement of the muscles in your legs. Good, and relax your back leg. Keep your toes tucked. Adjust your hands so that they're firm beneath you. Then stretch your back leg once again. Push into your hands palms and allow your right leg to come back into your downward facing dog. Readjust your hands and your feet as you need. And just take a moment to follow your exhales. Maybe take a few cleansing breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And check in with your down dog. Notice the similarities and differences from this down dog to your last. Then look at the space between your thumbs. Send your left leg forward into your pigeon. So your left knee goes to the left wrist, your left ankle goes to your right wrist. And again, start with an upright pigeon at first. Moving and adjusting any props you might be using. Doing your best to invite your right hip bone forward rather than allowing it to be open as best as you can. And again, if you are working with an open shape, that is a sign to use a prop underneath your left hip. Elevate yourself upright so that you can square your right hip off. Wherever you are, just find where you can slow your breathing down. Count your breaths if that's helpful for you. Press into the pads of your fingers, start to lift your chin up slightly. Heart lifts up towards the sky slightly. No need for a deep back bend here. Then start to fold yourself forward over your leg. And again, you can pause just on your forearms, or you can start to come a little bit further. You can use a variety of props to keep your body upright. just listen to your body. It's different. Your body is different than it was yesterday, and it'll be different tomorrow. So it's important that each day that you come into your stretches, that you take note of how you're feeling today, both in your body and in your mind. Slowly start to bring your torso up. Bring your hands on either side of you. Lift your chest up once again. Moving into your back bend. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper into this back bend, then that is your choice. Never force or strain. Make sure you keep the back of your neck long so that you can breathe comfortably. And then bring your torso and spine long. Tuck your back toes and stretch your leg for an active shape here. So the back leg kneecap is lifted off, engaging the muscles of the quads. If you're feeling discomfort in your front knee, make sure that your front foot is flexed and adjust your props accordingly so you don't feel so much pressure in that front knee. Then relax your knee down. Readjust your hands as you need to keep them firm into the floor. Then stretch your back leg once again. Push into your hands palms and left leg goes back into your downward facing dog once again. Take a big breath in. Exhale it out. One more time, big breath in. And exhale it out. Notice if you feel the same areas of tension, of tightness, as you did in your first downward dog. Maybe bend the knees slightly. Keep the pelvis where it is as you stretch. And again, bend into the knees. Stretching out the calf muscles and the Achilles tendon. And stretch. Look forward to the space between your hands. Lift your heels high, bend your knees, and come forward to seated. So any way you want to make your way to seated, do that. Then popcorn the knees a little bit, and then separate your feet hip width. Okay, they don't have to be together, just hip width. If you have pillows or blankets that you'd like to use here for a forward fold, by all means, gather those items. Take a breath in, long spine, so hands onto your legs. As you breathe out, start to walk your hands forward. Pause at any point when you feel the rounding in your back, okay? So maybe for some of us, it may feel more comfortable to bend our knees slightly and take our hands back behind the legs and invite our heart forward. And that's fine. Just pause there and notice. Notice where you feel the sensations. And see if sending your breath to those areas can soften those areas or not. Either way is okay. There's no judgment. There's no rush. It's just the act of noticing and practicing. And as your body allows, start to soften yourself forward. If you have a prop, you can place it in front of you onto your shins and place your forehead onto that prop. And that will allow your spine to start to soften. So if you've chosen to take a prop, allow your forehead to soften onto that prop and allow your back to round. If you don't have a prop, place your hands where it feels comfortable. Maybe it's on top of your feet, maybe it's around the bottoms of your feet, or maybe you stack your forearms and rest your forehead down. So allow your shoulder blades to separate away from your spine, stretching the space between the shoulder blades, an area that we worked earlier in our flow. Allow the backs of your legs to soften with your exhales. Notice if your feet want to roll in or roll out. Just try to find where neutral is. If you find that rolling them slightly in increases the stretch dramatically, maybe pause there for a few slow breaths. Or same thing, if you let them turn out slightly and that feels very different in the stretch and opening in the backs of your legs, then simply pause there for a few breaths. Allow yourself to explore your forward fold. Now, wherever you are, grab onto either your prop or the underneath your feet or the backs of your legs somewhere, and start to roll your shoulders back at the depth of your forward fold. Start to lengthen your low back, mid back, upper back at the depth of your forward fold. And then maybe start to flex the feet slightly. So at the depth of your forward fold, you're starting to work some engagement, an active shape here. Then lengthen the crown of the head out in order to come up. When your torso is upright, take a slow breath in and a cleansing breath out. As we reverse this shape, you have an option to keep your legs straight, zip the inner thighs up, and reach the toes down and away from your nose. Or you can bend your knees and place your feet hip-width apart, feet flat on the floor. Whichever variation you're choosing to take, hands go back behind you, fingertips point forward. Let out your air and then press into your hands, press into your feet, and lift your torso up. Reversing your forward fold with a front body opener, a back body strengthener. Allow your head to only go as far back as feels comfortable, where you can breathe comfortably. Come up a little bit higher, push into your feet more, and then slowly lower your hips down. One more cleansing breath. Big breath in, and a big breath out. Make your way to a seated shape. So maybe you're sitting cross-legged, maybe you're sitting onto your shins. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Maybe placing your hands onto your knees or your lap or your abdomen or your heart space. Take a big breath in. Let it out. Maybe you close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the work that you've done, the time that you've carved out and created for yourself to tune in. The light in me honors and appreciates the light in you. Thanks for joining me.